Hey everyone, this is Julian from the Binary Lab. This is not actually a trading video, but for those of you who've been in the Binary Lab, you probably know that I've been battling with sinusitis. I've been battling with the ahem sounds for a very long time. Uh, it's been like it's been a while, okay, but I mean the ahem sounds in my videos. It's been there for a while. It's like this whole rhinitis thing. I had it from birth. Uh, it wasn't. It kind of went away over time, but the last few years it kind of came back a little bit. But sinusitis, that was the one that really got me down. So if you're a sinusitis sufferer, I want you to comment beneath this video so I know how many people I'm reaching. Um, Sinusitis, like I mentioned, I actually officially outgrew it about like 12 years old. 34 this year, but about 5 weeks ago it kind of came back really strong, and I was literally like almost basically virtually out of action for about 5 days. uh, like I would feel chronic fatigue, I would feel like migraines, and the worst thing is in the evenings, because in the evenings I would get like feverish, and I would get like swellings on either one or both sides of the sinuses, uh, which would give me like a toothache kind of feeling. It's not periodontitis, I checked it out. And when I lower my head, basically, I just feel groggy, it feels heavy, and there's a lot of pressure over here. So in this video, what I want to do is to kind of share with you some remedies I found to kind of like get around the situation naturally, without without resorting to antibiotics. Um, I got around the first round of sinusitis with antibiotics about when it hit me 5 weeks ago. I went to the doctor about like 3-4 days later, and within within like 2-3 days it was okay. But I had it again just last week when my daughter brought some kind of a flu bug back from school. She got over it herself within like 1-2 days, but for me it was like I wouldn't say full blown, but half blown. The last time was full blown, but still, it was kind of difficult to live with, because I will feel like very fatigued. It makes it difficult for me to concentrate or do anything, and I was taking like long afternoon naps. It's quite hard to get any work done that way. So I want to share with you what worked for me, and one of the biggest discoveries of all is the power of nasal irrigation. This is like a bottle of like over-the-counter pre-mixed saline. We all know saline is basically just salt and water, but I've did some reading and I found out that sometimes if you like self-make saline, there could be impurities that could cause further inflammation. So the best is if you get like some kind of a sterile saline solution. And this one, for instance, it actually says like for irrigation, so that's good. But what I do is, and you got to try this out as well. It's basically like I deliberately buy the type of squirt bottle. If you don't have the type of squirt bottle, you have to pump it out to a syringe, for instance, or use a pressure pump and kind of like pump it up one nostril so that it comes out the other. Don't worry, you're not gonna like choke or get a feeling of, you're not gonna choke or feel as though you're drowning. I used to have that phobia, but when I saw how the doctors did it for my baby daughter, I was like, hey, that's actually a lot less painful than I expected. So you put it on one side, and you just kind of keep the pressure on, and suddenly it just jets out of the other side, and it was going to come out from the other nostril and your mouth. Do this about twice a day. I don't recommend doing it like more than twice, because I don't know, for me it just kind of worked against it. There's like it created like excess mucus production, so there's no point. If it's really congested, what it does is that the saline helps to loosen up and dilute the solid solidified mucus or semi-solid mucus that could be inside the sinuses, and that's a big relief, because when it's all when it's hot to the touch, it's probably like a lot hardening and semi-solid ones. So if you put it in, give it like over the next half hour, you're gonna feel like you have to clear your nose, you have a tissue. Just go ahead and do so. I don't recommend doing this just before bedtime because you're gonna have a hard time sleeping. You're gonna feel like you can't breathe properly. So do it at least about 45 minutes before you sleep, so you have 45 minutes to kind of let the nose clear out and you'll be fine. The other thing that I found to be really effective is like hot compresses. So this is a microwavable hot compress. It's got, I got it from around here. It's got lemongrass and turmeric, and I just chuck this in the microwave for about 2 minutes, and then I basically like kind of like, for me, my last round I had it on my left side. So it was a lot of relief when I basically just put it against my face, light down the mattress, put a little pressure. So basically I just basically like light down and did this. It's a lot of relief. And then, but because of the way things are connected, you know, sometimes it could, over the eye area feels good too. So I just basically cover half my face with this, and even the neck area on the side. So I think there are like, I mean I'm not a doctor, but there are probably some links that go down this side as well. So to do that is really helpful. And one other thing that two other things I recommend is I drink lots and lots of fluids. This is something that I've known for years, but I mean the other two things I shared with you, those are very new. Drink lots of fluids because it does help to loosen up the thickness of the mucus. It really does. Better still, like boil some ginger. If you hate the taste of ginger, then like mix in some honey. Really helps. And if you can, something that you can do is you want to have an ice pack and a hot compress, and what you do is like you do like 30 seconds on one, 30 seconds on the other. So you kind of like hardening, softening, hardening, softening, hardening, softening. It helps the mucus to drain out of the area a lot quicker. So I try to do this about once a day, but if I cannot, I'll just do the hot compress by itself. And I personally do this about 3 times a day in total. Like usually in the mornings I'm fine. So once after lunch, and then you know probably about once about like pre-dinner, after sleep, and if I'm out of the house and it's not convenient for me to do a hot compress, what I do is I tend to massage the sinus area. So for me, the recent time was this area, so I just kind of massage it, and if it goes from hard to semi-hard, you know that you're doing something right. And then when I get back the day, I will just do a hot compress, or if I have the time and I'm not too tired out, I'll rotate hot and cold 30 seconds, and then it just goes away. So the main thing for me that like actually if you wish to take like some drugs like cetirizine, they also like chlor something maleate. These two are fine because they're antihistamines. They don't put too much strain on your body. But if you want to do totally drug free, that's fine as well. The reason why I'm sharing this information with you is because some of you out there don't want to rely too much on antibiotics. And if you like for me, okay, I had it pretty bad. So the main thing was that, you know, when I feel that any sinuses are swelling, so it's generally for me it's generally here. Sometimes I get it up here as well. Okay, sometimes it's on the temples. Okay, the one 5 weeks ago was really bad. It was like almost whole face, but the most recent one was just here. So the main thing is you want to be able to get rid of these face aches and or other pressure from the swollen sinusitis, swollen sinuses, and it's going to make you feel a lot better. So if you can manage with that, the rest of it is fairly simple. Just take some antihistamine. It will probably go away, or rather you'll see the whole sinusitis episode pass you by fairly effectively. All right, I hope this helps you out. If you've been battling with sinuses like rhinitis for years, and you haven't tried nasal irrigation, I suggest you just give that a shot. Because for me, I think that was one of the game changers. The other one will be this. These are the two major game changers for like battling with sinusitis, rhinitis for me. All right. Hope it helps you out in some way. Drop a comment. I'll be happy to hear your feedback. Bye for now.